I'm doing this video because I want to answer the question 10 in Mathswatch homework. Before I get on to question 10, I just want to do a quick recap of how we find the circumference of a circle. Now, when we say circumference, we just basically mean the distance around the circle. The reason we don't call it perimeter of the circle, which is what we usually use when we want to find the distance around a shape, it's because it's circular. So that's why we use the word circumference. Now, how do I find out the circumference of a circle? Well, it has a formula. So circumference is equal to pi times d. Pi is simply a number. It's a number that doesn't end. It's equivalent to 3.14159 and so forth, very long. And it's called pi. Diameter, if you remember, is a distance across a circle. It's from one point of the circle to the other going through the center. So for me to work out this circumference, I'm going to use pi times, what's my diameter? It's 8 centimeters, 8. So it's going to be simply 8 pi. Now, sometimes they ask you to leave your answers in terms of pi. That would be, for instance, the non-calculator paper in GCSEs. So this could possibly be an answer, but in this case, you want the numerical values. I'm actually going to do a multiplication of 8. Pi is, I'm going to leave it as 3.14. And obviously, it's a much longer number. I'm going to use my calculator in order to get a more accurate answer. So I'm going to 8 times, pi is over here. So in order to access that, I have to press shift. I say 8 times pi. Gives me 8 pi. I press the SD button to get the actual answer. Now the answer is 25.13. That's to 2 centimeters because it's distance around the circle. And that's to 2 decimal places. So I've just rounded it down. Now, the next question here, again, I want to find the circumference. So I know that circumference is pi times d. Again, pi. And what's my diameter? In this case, it's not 3. That's my radius is 3. So my diameter goes all the way across. So that's another 3 here. So altogether, my diameter is 6. 3 add 3 is my 6. So pi times 6. Again, it could be 6 pi. In some questions, they ask you to leave the answers in terms of pi. But in my question here, I want to work it out as a numerical value. So I'll say, right, 6. Remember, pi is the same as 3.14. It's a recurring number. I want it to be exact, so I'm going to use my calculator. 6 times pi, shift, gives me 6 pi. SD button gives me, I'm going to round it, 18.85 centimeters. That's again to 2 decimal places. Okay. Now let's get to the question now. Question 10A. This question 10A is altogether, it's quite, could be said quite a tricky question. Again, they want me here to find the perimeter. They asked, if you look at the questions, ask for a perimeter of the shape. The reason they said that is because the shape consists of a circular part as well as a straight edge. So my job is to work out both different lengths. Now, to work out the circular part, let's pretend it's a full circle. So let's pretend my circle was like that, because my formula is for a form of a full circle, not a semicircle or half of a circle. So I pretend now, again, I'm going to go back to my formula. C is equal to pi times d. Pi is pi. What's d? Now d, if you notice, is the whole distance across. I've only been given x. So the distance is going to be another x over here. So x add x is 2x. So it's going to be x pi times 2x. That's my diameter. So this is going to be here. It's equal to 2x pi. That's my circumference. 2x pi times pi. Now remember, I'm not interested in the full circle. I only want this curved bit. So actually, I don't even want this bit over here. I just want this bit here. So it's half of what I've already found. So I have to divide 2x pi, divide that by 2 in order to work out what this curved bit is. Remember, 2 anything divided by itself is a 1. That will cancel. So x pi is this distance here. X pi is the curved bit. Remember what I said earlier. To get the final answer, I need the curved as well as the straight edge. So to work out my final perimeter, I have x pi, add my straight edge. So my straight edge is x add x, which is 2x. And that's your final answer. That's for question 10A. Now the final bit here is question B. Now question B, it says the perimeter of the shape is 25.71. Oh, by the way, I could put centimeters here. The perimeter of the shape is 25.71 centimeters. Calculate the value of the radius x. And I have to use pi to be 3.142. They want me now they've actually given me a value for the perimeter. For the same question, they've given me a value for p. And my job is to work out what the value of x is if my perimeter is actually this. So remember, from this question here, I said the perimeter of the shape here is x, pi add 2x. So what I'm going to do is, instead of this p, I'm going to put the value that they gave me, which is 25.71 is equal to x pi add 2x. I need to work out what the value of x is, so I need to solve for x. Now class, we haven't actually done this kind of solving for x, but hopefully you can follow what I'm going to say. What makes this question tricky is I have an x in one term and x in a different term. So to work this value, I have to do this bit here. What I do is I'm going to factorize. That means I'm going to include a bracket. So I'm going to take out what's common to both. And what's common to both here is the x. And then I'm going to open bracket here. And in order to get this, remember x times pi gives me this. Add x times 2 gives me the other value here. The next step, I need to get x on its own. So I need to remove this part of the equation. Now remember, in order to remove anything, you need to do the inverse. So instead of multiplying, I have to divide both sides by x plus 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by x plus 2. So to do that, I'm going to divide this part here by pi plus 2. Sorry, not max. Sorry, I meant pi plus 2. I'm going to divide here by pi add 2. What am I going to be left with here? Obviously, this will cancel with that, x. And this will be my actual value for x, 25.71 over pi add 2. To find what the numerical value is, I have to substitute pi for this. It's going to be 24. So in your calculator, just plug that in. 3.142 add 2. And if we do that, you're going to find that I have 25.71 over 3.142 add 2. And this is going to give me a value of 5. Nice round number. So this gives me 5. So x actually is equal to a 5. That's the answer to this question. How's that, John?